Another year, another time to be fashionably late for the Sage Showcase.
And another time to show the AAA game developing world how it's really done. What the heck is this?
Vertebreaker.
So yeah, for those that are unfamiliar with Sage, it's basically the Sonic Amateur Gaming event.
Expo? Yeah.
Expo, thank you. Basically, a whole bunch of fan gamers showing their stuff, and in some cases, you might even get more professional help, like with Vertebreaker here. That is basically a proof in concept developed by the one of the big men behind Sonic hacking community, Stealth.
Whoa.
Oh. Yeah, actually, I saw at the beginning it was handled by Headcanon Games. They're one of the people that helped with Mania.
Yeah, that's pretty much the main company that Stealth's a part of. And yeah, so first and foremost, welcome to his next big project, Vertebreaker, a game where you play as a cute little animated skeleton whose main weapon is his own vertebrae.
Yeah, I noticed that.
I can see that.
I say to all opposition, yeah.
I noticed that. I
Of
noticed.
course.
I was Amelia. Oh yeah, Jordy's here with us, and I noticed.
Hi.
I noticed. A reminds me of Grapple Force Arena. B reminds me of B reminds me of Fishing Girl platformer.
Oh yeah, Umihara Kawase. Yeah, like literally basically with your vertebrae, you can latch onto a whole bunch of stuff and just slingshot all across the place, kind of like Umihara. Though I'd also argue, in a sense, this almost feels both better and worse than that, honestly.
Also, two things in quick succession. What does our meter in the upper left mean?
That's our health, basically.
Oh boy.
Oh.
Those yellow bits of bone are pretty much our health, and like all the white bars
Bones
there
are
that
collected.
it fills up the more bones you collect, and once you fill it up with a certain amount of bones, you get another piece of health.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
speaking of bones, I just want to ask, like, we collect, like, a bunch of bones. There's even bones that fall off the enemies that you collect. Is it the kind of thing where it's like a hunter gets an extra life, or do the bones serve any other purpose?
Whoa.
It's mostly just a health collection, or just for bragging rights. And oh god!
Oh, boy.
Dang! He's getting all hostile
But don't
on
worry,
you.
even apparitions can be killed with a vertebrae.
Okay.
Do you get like a reward for collecting a certain number of bones on a level?
Not really, no. In fact, I'm just going to say this right now. What I'm showing off here is pretty much what's called the technical demo. It's really nothing more. It's not like an actual game per se, but more so a proof of concept. Like,
Gotcha.
there's this whole level that we can play around in, but that's literally all there is to it. And as a matter of fact, Stealth himself has gone on record saying that he does plan on opening up a Kickstarter soon based on this project.
Okay.
Well, here's hoping it goes well.
Once that comes around, I'm definitely gonna fund it because from what I played, I had a ton of fun, and I'd love to see more stuff, like more and see more out of this idea.
I like the. I was saying with watching you play this, I like the freedom aspect of how much you can utilize the grappling momentum.
Oh yeah, it honestly gives a very similar feeling of momentum that you normally would get out of a Genesis Sonic title.
It also seems silly. Silly to me. I like that. Depending on if you're facing to the right or the left, you look far more evil or intense. Like here, happy.
Yeah.
Like here, you're whoa. Like happy, evil, happy, evil, happy.
I do wonder what the story is behind the loss of an eye.
Yeah, and the split skull.
Is it like a whole Fortescue thing where it symbolizes some kind of horrible event that happened, or do you just paint on to look cooler?
I don't know. I'm more terrified in wanting to learn why are we literally in an environment where the literal hills are made of bones.
Oh no!
Okay, that was a lot of bones at 420, of course. But no, I was more terrified by the fact that the hills were made of bones.
Bits rule.
Oh yeah, new
Okay,
game.
so this next project I'm showing off here is actually, I think, one of a rare few, if not the only one, which is actually a game that was made off of the Genesis. Or Mega Drive, rather. This is Phantom Gear, developed by Leo Sirius? I assume that. I hope I pronounced that right. But yeah, basically with this game, it's literally running off of actual Genesis hardware, and well, currently the only way you can really play this is off an emulator, like say Nendathan or Fusion or whatnot.
Oh, and let me guess, is their like ultimate goal to actually create cartridges from this game?
I'm willing to bet that's what they're planning.
Okay, because
Maybe
I have
it's
heard
just
of people
Assuming this
doing
does
that.
go anywhere.
Maybe it's just me, but just the way the camera's perspective and just the overall look of the HUD and the level design, I feel like this might have been based off of Pulseman.
I can sort of see it. I will say the background imagery in general does look very nice. It feels like a really nice product of its time.
If not that, I was going to guess Rystar for some reason.
That too.
But
Anyway,
actually,
I guess while I'm showing this game off, let me actually look up its page, because there actually is a plot to this, if you can believe that.
okay, while you're doing
Nothing wrong
that,
with
while you're doing that, I'm so sorry we didn't give you a chance to talk about that. Jordy, what did you think of the Bone game?
It was pretty interesting, I'll give you that.
Well, what do you think of this one so far?
This is not bad. I mean, it's very simple, honestly. You run, you defeat enemies, you grab orbs.
Kinda like
That's
Mega
all
Man, yeah.
that's all I'm getting from this so far. It's kind of like a Mega Man thing.
So from the Sonic Fan Game HQ page for Phantom Gear, the story is as follows. In an expedition to the ruins of a forgotten civilization, Dr. Valentine and engineer Agnes discover an ancient artifact that is the container of a great source of energy. Thanks to this discovery, Valentine and Agnes used the artifact to create new technologies to improve humanity. But a phantom from the past started to move again and generate chaos to the world. From this chaos came a faction that wanted to weaponize the artifact, the Ocular Force. In one of their attacks on the laboratory at Valentine and Agnes, Ocular Force succeeded in stealing a small piece of the artifact. Unfortunately, in that attack, Agnes also lost her life, leaving her daughter Josephine, the character we're playing as right now, alone in the world. Valentine decided to adopt the daughter of her friend and complete the work of Agnes, a set of combat equipment for Josephine, so she could defend herself and the future. And then there's a whole bunch of other pages showcasing like all the characters that are in this game and the moves she could face and whatnot. The credits. Just yeah, I'll leave a description. I'll leave a pretty much for every game we're showcasing. I'll be sure to leave a link in the description.
Right.
Good idea.
I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like that name of that Dr. Valentine, I feel like I've heard that in some other game before.
Well, I know there's there's Vincent Valentine or whatever from Final Fantasy VII.
And there's Jill Valentine from Resident Evil.
There's
Valentine's
Ivy
a pretty popular. Valentine's a pretty popular last name in the gaming industry. Let's just put it that way.
Oh, of course.
Apparently. Whoop.
I will say one thing. Agnes is the name of my nana.
Oh, that's so.
Also,
Yeah.
where do we go? Whoa.
From here, we're going to move on to another little project, and I'm just going to say this right now. Do you guys remember back in our last Sage-based video that starred two particular old cartoony-looking cats?
This
Yeah.
is a sequel?
This is more or less a side project to that. This right here is Sandra Gomez, a Wonderworld story by Sparks. And this right here is pretty much where we get our story for our good Sandro here.
He lived in Son of a... to chase
Son of
his
a-
dream of being a musician.
But his parents did not approve of such a
No
dream.
one liked
This
him
is
except
clearly
for-
a timeless story.
No, not
hey,
even the
Felix.
cat.
And just
not,
to and add insult to injury.
Aw. Not even
Wow.
the cats liked him.
However,
What?
Oh god.
The
Make things
Emperor.
worse, he's in debt to the realtor.
Devil
Who's
damn it.
the Emperor?
ooh.
Realtor, however you pronounce it.
I think it's
Yeah,
realtor or something like that.
You owe me, Mr. Gomez, and your time is running out.
I'm sorry, Plague Knight.
Despite that,
Yes.
if you can find me the mystic orbs, okay, what rental contract ever includes? If you fulfill the prophecy, then your rental deposit will be forfeit.
Also, I cannot be the only one that looks at the sky and just immediately thinks of Plague Knight.
No, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah,
In all fairness, Plague Knight's overall design was based on, like...
plague doctors.
Now, I'm sure those robots might look familiar to those who have actually played Kyle and Lucy's Wonderland story from last year.
Well, first off, I'll say
okay.
I like the idea of them setting up this game as it's not a direct sequel to it, but it takes place in the same universe.
Yep, and it also has a completely different gameplay style altogether, where this time it's a straight-up Castlevania clone.
I was about to say, the second I saw the whip, I knew what this was going to be.
The whip and the way that the tile set is set on the ground. This is very Simon's Questy.
It is. It does feel that way. But yeah, I'm honestly surprised that after showing off that rather interesting demo of the Kyle and Lucy variant of this story, I'm just surprised they decided to just jump ship so suddenly.
Right.
Well, I feel like it might not be like so suddenly. I feel like it's kind of one of those things where it's like they're just kind of going back and forth on the games.
I guess at the same time, though, I was kind of hoping that maybe they could have expanded further on that Kyle and Lucy concept from last year. Because I mean, some of the issues with that game aside, I did get a real big kick out of that.
I feel like the game will be done eventually. It's just that, like I said, I feel like the developers just kind of want to keep going back and forth on these two games, kind of not unlike Michelle Ancel does.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, no, what we're dealing with here is just, again, a side story where it's a straight up, it's pretty much a 2D NES platformer of its time, where, again, it feels an awful lot like Castlevania, though unlike a typical Belmont, you can actually aim your whip upward.
By the way, if you want the context, by the way, Jordan, Michelle Ancel is the guy that made Rayman.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Rayman, Beyond Good and Evil, and so on and so forth.
Good stuff.
And then there was also that one other project he's doing outside of Ubisoft called WoW, which I haven't heard anything of that in years.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess we should talk about, so for Sage, are there any games in particular that will not be shown off in this video, but we want to show off later?
I'm not sure if I'll be showing this off later. I mean, if Logan or whoever wanted to show it off later, I'd be okay with it. But one game I will not be showing off is a Sonic fighting game that you guys may have heard of called Sonic Smackdown.
Oh yeah,
I've been
watching.
Earlier.
Yeah, I've been following the progress on that. It's really interesting. Basically, it's a from the ground engine that they made. They made it for a more original project that they're doing but they decided to also.
Okay, so I'll just say this right now. This game in particular kind of caught me by surprise. This is Rodea Eternal. Basically, you guys ever heard of that one game Yuji Naka made back a little while back called Rodea the Sky Soldier?
We did a look at on it, I remember.
Yes, we did, and it was a look at of the superior Wii version that was, well, unfortunately, a limited release.
Right.
But on that note, yeah, the whole story behind that game is that, well, it was primarily taunted out as a Wii U and 3DS exclusive, even though Naka won nothing of that kind of thing. It's kind of a sad story of a game that kind of, well, it got shelved pretty hard because of because of bad business decisions.
Right.
But regardless of that fact, one particular fan developer, Ken Tillen is the name, actually got the assets from the Wii version of Rodea and decided, you know what, why don't I give a shot at this? And well, here we are with Rodea Eternal. And you guys can thank me later. I actually had to turn down the volume big time on this.
That's fair, but so it looks like it's a solid. Like, is it a port or these brand new levels?
I think what it is that the developer just took whatever assets they found from the actual game and just rearranged them as they saw fit.
I mean, I'll say, in terms of, like, being able to play this on your PC, this looks like a solid port so far.
It's not bad. It's a good attempt, though I do think it definitely does feel like it's not exactly made by a straight-up professional.
Well, if it's only made by one dude, then yeah, I can't really fault him too much.
Like, for one thing, you can't even move on the ground like normally. You could do that in the actual Rodea games, but here, no. You can only move around by just aiming your mouse or whatever and just launching a Rodea with the left stick. Or the right stick if you want to really speed up and attack things.
Oh, I guess for Jordy, I guess we have to explain that this was supposed to be sort of a spiritual successor to Knights in a sense.
Yes.
Oh.
It was a spiritual successor to Naka helmed way back in like the early or like the very beginning of the decade, and like it was originally going to be a Wii game, but then it got pushed. It got pushed for a release on the 3DS and eventually the Wii U by the publisher, Kodakawa Games, I think they were named. And what ended up happening is that, well, Kodakawa ended up taking the helm for the Wii U and 3DS versions and made a whole bunch of changes to the system that honestly made it more of a drag to play than anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Though thankfully, through the help of the game's publisher, NIS America, they actually were able to release what I assume was a full version of the original Wii game. So for those that actually got like the first edition release of the Wii U release, actually got the definitive version of the game like as a bonus. And I did show it off as a look at a while back.
And again, I still think it's silly that the definitive version is the one from a previous console generation. Hi, what do you have to say? Hi, what do you have any new thoughts about Rodea since we last looked at it?
I don't think he was with us when we did Rodea that one time.
Oh no.
It was just you, me, and Becca.
Huh.
But yeah, no, Hype and Jordy in general, what do you two think of this little thing?
As a successor to Knights and all that.
I mean, in my personal opinion, I don't think it's the best, but it tries.
I mean, again, this isn't exactly the best way to really represent it, but I do appreciate the effort put into trying to make Rodea relevant.
And you hype?
Eh.
Okay.
Fair enough. How about?
Oh,
yeah,
hey!
remember this is a Sonic fan gaming convention. How about we show off some Sonic?
Okay.
Yay!
So,
what?
Sonic Speed Course. Essentially, take Kirby's Dream Course and apply Sonic to it.
Honestly, I'm surprised they never did something like this, considering Golf and, again, he can become a ball.
Fun.
It's funny because I do recall like back when Sonic Extreme was a thing.
Yeah.
I think there was some sort of Sonic project that was being made for the Saturn, and part of it involved a mini game it's literally just Sonic Pool or Sonic Billiards rather.
Right.
Though that really didn't go
You
anywhere.
suck right on the dime.
Neither did that, Chad.
Oh, no.
Ah,
There we go.
Oh.
there you go. Recoil.
So this fan game in general, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's a tad awkward to play compared to the original Kirby's Dream Course, but at the same time, you're not stricken with a
Energy meter.
health limit. Yeah,
Oh.
exactly.
Ah, no! I was worried that you were gonna go over.
Yep.
Oh yeah, there's no health limit, and you don't have to worry about like the game. There's really it's again, this is all just nothing more than a proof of concept. So there's really no scoring or anything of the sort.
That's
it's
fair.
just you're playing mini golf with Sonic.
Right.
Mini golf.
And I'll give credit where it's due. Like the overall presentation values are
Whoops.
actually pretty decent.
Yeah, I think the 3D models are a cool little touch, and I think the music is nice. Is it from anything, or is this original music?
Oh, this is the Generations remix of Door to Summer.
Yeah,
Yeah, I had a feeling it was Generations.
I mean they had to use something.
Fair.
Just yeah, overall, I mean it is kind of interesting to see someone actually just take
Whoa.
such an obscure title like Kirby's Dream Course and apply it to Sonic the Hedgehog in such a fashion. And actually, speaking of Kirby, there are a few Kirby-related entries in Sage 2019, but I decided not to show them off simply because I kind of don't want to risk Nintendo possibly seeing them and the typical cease and desist bullshit.
Yeah, you want to try and keep them
yeah.
undercover, get
Oh,
and
come
develop
on.
and become full-fledged things. I'm actually curious how long has Sage been around? Like, were they like, okay, you don't have to have it be about Sonic anymore, you can make it whatever? Because...
Honestly, I feel like Sega in general, like, well, I say that, I know they kind of canned that one Streets of Rage thing, but I feel like when it comes to Sonic fan games, they're a little bit more loose about it. I mean, to be fair, one Sonic fan game was so good they ended up hiring them to make Mania.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
That is
geez.
true. Which one was this again?
I forget the name of the game I think it was like Sonic XG or Sonic Nexus. I'll have to look it up later.
I thought it started off with the guy making an unofficial port of Sonic CD, or did he like actually make?
Well,
a full
that was
No, that was
official.
official.
Okay.
In fact, I think that was literally Sega's training course for him to prove if he's actually capable. He has the chops to possibly make a 2D Sonic for them.
Right. Fair.
And well, the rest is history.
Yeah, because it proved a success, because for a lot of people, that's the definitive way to play CD.
Yeah.
Oh,
but-
easily.
Yeah. Okay.
So how about we move on to our last bit, which actually was a late entry for Stage 2019. This is Sonic Project Hero by Hero.
We've been following this for about a year or so when it started being uploaded on YouTube, and
And you know what? I'm just gonna say this right now. If I've been hearing a lot of stuff about Sega possibly wanting to remake Sonic Adventure, but
Adventure 2.
I've only really heard Adventure 1, but I wouldn't be surprised if Adventure 2 is also part of it. But let me just say this right now. This game is probably this project here is going to spoil the living shit out of me, if ever that's ever a possibility, and I will judge it harshly based on the fact, because this is how I want what I want from a 3D Sonic, just entirely.
I think a lot of people do. In fact, honestly, I'm ready to knock on wood, but I would not be surprised if this ends up doing the same thing that happened with Mania, where Sega sees the reception to skits and pretty much hires whoever coded this to use this engine for the Adventure remakes.
I wouldn't mind that.
That'd be great.
But I think I actually had a conversation with you guys about this in like text chat. Is that I don't think an engine like this would work for Sonic Adventure 1's levels unless they did some serious retooling of the levels to account for these physics.
Well, yeah. It'd have to be like a straight up reimagining.
But that-
I mean,
Honestly,
this is still a really freeform engine, like to a point
Definitely.
where honestly, even something as minuscule as like the adventure stuff might not be that hard to tackle.
And
Right.
honestly, hello, Ward.
Yeah, they brought back this from Ryder. I mean, because honestly, gonna say, yeah, we were mentioning Christian Whitehead earlier with Manias. I do really hope that something like this allows him to become the next Whitehead, because this just being a tech demo, that it feels. How do the controls feel? Like, how tight are they?
Oh, they're really tight. Like, honestly, this is probably the tightest Sonic I've ever controlled in a 3D space.
And I love the animations and the what's it, the energy, the like. Well, how does I don't want to say? Well, the animations are so animated. How do you say it with like they're cartoony, they're lively, they're.
It's fluid.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, I know it's kind of one of those things where, like, 3D Sonic projects have come and go, and a lot of them have had varying successes. Like, I think I remember a while back I covered Sonic Worlds, and I thought that was a pretty decent experiment, even if it was a little rough around the edges.
And then I covered Sonic
then
Utopia,
Sonic
or was that
Utopia,
you?
which was, well, yeah, Sonic Utopia. That I thought was a pretty good project, even if its control scheme only really works because the landscape was so vast.
Yeah.
But here we have a game which honestly, an engine that I think can really work with both tight spaces and wide environments. Like, this is, like, again, this feels, like, honestly, no joke here, if this game actually had proper level design and just goatees and stuff, this would pretty much be the Mario Odyssey of Sonic.
I mean, I could see, it definitely looks like it. What do you think, Hype? Oh, I see Matt Sherman
well,
down there.
Yeah. Honestly, I guess I'm pretty much echoing what James says. This really does look like, you know, what am I trying to say? Just from a
hey,
basis.
Oh, hi, Eggman.
What are you doing? This is my house.
Ow!
Not appreciating.
And I thought this place was safe!
This neighborhood's
Stop
just
turning
gone
me
to.
into an omelet!
This neighborhood's just gone to the dogs.
Bye-bye.
That'll be our exit portal out of here. Oh, that looks so cool.
This
Or it would be if it actually worked as one. But no, that's just, again, this is all just a proof of concept, which, I mean, again, it does its job really damn well.
Oh yeah, and and this dude is also porting in Tails and one other character we'll see
Knuckles.
later. Okay, we'll just say it. Knuckles.
You all, who are we fooling? You all knew who that third character is.
Whoa, that is
Yeah.
much better than decoy rings.
yeah.
Yes, it is.
Oop. And he has his little tail swipes from Adventure 1.
And
really nice.
it can even work in the same vein as it did Adventure 1 once you got the that one badge.
Oh, and they're remote detonation bombs.
Yep.
And honestly,
Nice.
if I can just rewind a bit to a topic we talked about, like, you were saying that, like, they'd have to pretty much end up reimagining the adventure games in order to fit with this engine, Logan. Honestly, I say in general, a nice little Tails meter, honestly, I'd say in general that the adventure games are better off with just a full-on reimagining than with a remake along the lines of, say, like Crash and Spyro, because honestly, I think both those games could do with a lot more than just, you know, polished up gameplay.
Just some a little bit higher level design, because I never quite liked the original. Sonic Adventure 2 was a bit better, but Sonic Adventure 1's level designs usually weren't the best for me.
I mean, I had my mileage with it, but I can also agree it could have been better in spots just because it had to rely on like a whole bunch of characters that would probably share the same space.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
another thing. And that's another thing why I talked about how like it'd be better off as a whole reimagining, because you know, for better or worse, one of the big defining aspects of the adventure games are the multiple playable characters, and well, we all know how people feel about that.
It's okay.
For the most part, I mean, people will still swear by the fact that it should, like, if you're gonna have multiple playable characters, like Tails and Knuckles are a must. But after that, it's like
Questionable.
So.
questionable, or yeah, you know what? Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Questionable.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Well,
Oh,
it's
jeez.
not even just the inclusion of multiple playable characters; it's just the way they were executed is the problem. Like, you know,
Right.
I know a
Yeah.
lot of people love hating on like the treasure hunting stuff that Knuckles has to go through, and then
Oh.
of course there's the more obvious examples like Big.
I mean,
oh, jeez.
that's pretty much a topic we could probably save for like a future Sonic game playthrough.
If it ends
like,
up-
especially if that whole Sonic Adventure remake does hold true.
I mean, we can talk about it. I mean, what I'm trying to say, we can rag on it all we want. We know that if they make a Sonic Adventure 1 reboot or something, we're going to like talk about it or play it
Oh,
or
of
show it
course.
off.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So, Jordy, what do you think about Sonic Project Hero?
Well, I think what I'm seeing right now, it's really well polished. I like how, you know, just how balanced everything is, the fluidity behind the animation, and this guy really it looks like this guy really knows what he's doing.
Yeah, with the engine and the physics and momentum and all that.
And it's honestly funny to think about because, again, take a drink for how many times I say that, but just this wasn't even like in the it wasn't even in the expo initially. Like this was like a late entry, and if this ends up winning a good handful of the awards, I wonder how salty that's going to make a lot of the other participants feel.
This
Yeah.
demo is in dedication to Eggman.
So
Rest
let's
in
see,
peace,
the
good
last
sir.
character.
Hello.
Oh, they
What?
have a little different. Oh, it's different soundtracks.
Ah, different soundtrack. That's cool.
Nice, Empire City. Hey, Knuckles.
There's only like a handful of tracks though, and well, I mean, I do appreciate that among them. There's like those Outrun remixes, and well, there's this too, which honestly does fit the more lax lifestyle of Knuckles.
And I.
Oh yeah, this is one of my favorite tracks of the HD version of Unleashed. It almost makes me forget the fact that if you really look in the grand scheme of things, the level itself really had no reason to be in the game.
Oh no, it's pure.
Yeah.
It was an optional level, which I mean,
Oh, jeez.
it's never a wrong thing to really have those. It's just it depends on the quality.
Well, I like that they
Yeah.
kept Knuckles. I like that they kept Knuckles' classic run for no silly reason. Definitely has a good amount of strength to him. It definitely seems like they're really trying to pull off a really good like best of like all worlds. Like keep a lot of the stuff that from the 2D Sonic stuff that made it fun. Implement a lot of the like quality of life stuff that more later 3D Sonic games brought to the table. Without okay, I'll say it, without dumbing things down like Forces did with its like combat and stuff.
Yeah, just Sonic Forces just was not a good
It needed
transition
more.
for Sonic.
It needed more time in the oven.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely. I mean, granted, they did go to say that like it took them a few years just to make the Hedgehog 2 Engine 2 the way it was, and for what it's worth, I mean that's fine. But just you need more than a year just to put the gameplay together.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
The wall dash.
Finally, nice. You can wall dash. Oh, and you can swim. Because we're not Sonic, you don't sink.
Can Tails swim too?
He can still fly in water, but he can't exactly swim.
I feel like Tails would sink just to be polite to Sonic and see. I sink too. Even though he clearly can swim, but he doesn't want to upstage Sonic. Knuckles doesn't care.
I don't need your pity, Tails.
You know, Tails is already bad enough you can fly, but you have to do that to me too.
Why can everybody fly in this game but me? Oh, Master Emerald. We gotta go get the Master Emerald.
Yep.
My baby.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, you passed it.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll go
I think
back.
I didn't even know the Master Emerald was there at the time.
I don't think it would do anything. I don't think it would do anything.
to tell you that Sonic's evil and ow.
I don't think he would. I don't
Not
think the
falling
Master,
for that again.
honestly, I don't think the Master Emerald would do much other than just showing it off as a model, which is fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really hopeful. I'm curious to see what he'll do if he'll. If he'll like start off with like maybe porting some levels to show off like what it looks like, and there it is.
Oh,
There it is.
There you are.
Oh, hold up there.
Where have you been all my life?
What are you doing all the way out here?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I can talk. How's your day? Charlie.
Yeah,
really?
that's right, baby. I'm rougher than the rest of them.
Tougher than leather.
And unlike Sonic, I don't chuckle.
Don't even try and tell me.
A rather flexible
Except,
move.
yes, I do.
But he ain't here, so I'll chuckle all I want.
Yeah, in the olden games, he did kind of like, the whole...
Yeah, he did the whole. I don't know why they said he didn't chuckle. That his first thing as a character is he laughs at you before pushing the switch.
Well,
And,
no, the first thing he did was knock the emeralds out of Super Sonic.
oh, that's right
because
too. The first thing he does
apparently
is
he's that
clobber you. That is fair.
How he was able to do that is anyone's guess.
I don't know.
Well, more importantly, how come he can never do something like that again?
Not
Good
sure.
question.
Oh, yeah, also, as we're seeing here, a lot of the classic power-ups are back too.
And what's funny is that in Project Hero, not all three characters can use it, not just Sonic.
Yeah.
That's
Are they implementing any of their super forms from Sonic 3 or just Sonic's?
For now, just Sonic.
Okay. Wait.
I mean, honestly, I'm not sure exactly what Hero has planned for the rest of the project beyond just being this awesome tech demo. Oh, God.
Whoop.
What the?
Who put that crack there?
That's a deep pit. Hey, man,
ow.
is that you?
But yeah,
No,
I'm
I was
just
trying to warn you
figure
about
out,
the
like,
pit. No.
Ow! I'm just trying to think of what else they could add for future updates. Like, I feel like Shadow's gonna be a no-brainer eventually. I wouldn't mind seeing how they could tackle Amy in this kind of engine.
Or Metal Sonic.
Oh, yeah, same.
Yeah.
But yeah, on that note, folks, that's pretty much it for our little Sage 2019 showcase. I mean, again, I'll post a link to all those games we just showed off in the description below, or heck, I'll just post the page where you can find all these fan games. Speaking of which, fan games, but yeah. Speaking of games, though, there was one game I did want to show off, but that I think deserves its own video. So, stay tuned.
Bye.
Well, what do you think of that?
Ooh, a jewel.